Welcome to your practice this morning. For our practice today, make sure that you have something that feels comfortable for a seated position, maybe a bolster, a couple blankets, a couple of blocks, and your strap. And once you have gathered your supplies, let's meet together in a comfortable seat. And we'll make that an intentional seat. And by that, I mean that we are actively kind of pressing down in the sits bones and a little bit in the legs. This isn't a big pressing down, it's just enough so that you are starting to get a sense of feeling grounded. The spine feels nice and long, broad across the collarbones. You can even roll your shoulders back a little to create that space. Think of lifting the head a little bit toward the sky, and then just bringing your chin down just a tiny bit. And then you can close your eyes as you get settled into your seat. Find some familiarity with your breath, that soft, long breath that we like to have at the beginning of practice. And as you get settled into the breath, I thought that today we could have a shorter practice. So, about a 30-minute practice for days that you only have 30 minutes. Any bit of yoga helps. And sometimes it's nice to have a complete class in a little less than an hour or about half that time. Okay, let's see if we can begin to notice the breath in the belly. There's an expansion of the belly with the inhale, and then the belly draws in with the exhale. Getting that full, long, slow breath. Knowing that as we pay attention to our breath in this way, there's just a natural drawing in, a natural time that we're able to give ourselves to be in present moment awareness. And you can keep your eyes closed if you'd like here. We're just going to start to gently roll the shoulders, and we want to lift them up really high up to the ears and letting them come back behind us. These days, we can really think of this action as countering the effects of living in a digital or technological life, where we are often using computers, phones, iPads, or whatever. Our bodies are a lot of times forward. We don't even notice anymore because it's our natural state. Letting those shoulders roll back a few more times, creating some energy here. And then let them rest on the back for a moment. And just take notice if your shoulders feel like they might be a little bit lower than they were before. And there's some nice space between the ears and the shoulders. And then go ahead and take your right ear to the right shoulder. And some slow, steady breaths here. Just paying attention to how you feel in your neck. Then take your left arm and place it behind your back with the top of your hand against your back. Any place that feels comfortable. Just notice any sensation that's been created. It's different for everyone, but when I do this, I usually feel something along the tops of my shoulder and a little bit down my arm, depending on what I've been doing. So take some long, slow breaths here. Just seeing if there can be just a little bit of space, feeling like it's being made. And then we'll come back to center, release the hand back to the lap, and let's go over to the second side. First, the ear to the shoulder. Taking several of those longer, softer breaths. Letting any sensations of tightness be seen and felt. And then go ahead and take the right arm behind the back, top of the hand to the back. And some long, slow breaths here. Really opening up that side of the neck. And then releasing the hand back to the lap. This time we'll take the arms out in front of us. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms to move away from you. Thumbs are down. Pinkies are extended. Slight bend in the elbows and let the arms come up and overhead. You can take the gaze up if you want. Really pressing the hands toward the sky, creating some space between the top of the hips and the low ribs. Couple of long, slow breaths. And then as you exhale, we'll twist to the right. Breathing nice and easy. The hands just come down wherever feels comfortable for you. My hand that's in the back usually needs to be on a bolster or a block. And think of having a nice space around the heart center and the collarbones. Some long breaths. So your spine is still nice and long, even though we're in this twisted posture. Just gently waking up the body. The next time you come to an inhalation, inhaling to center, and then wait for that exhalation to go to the second side. Still broad across the collarbones. And be mindful of your neck. You can take the gaze over the left shoulder. You want to make sure that you are not causing any strain. The face is relaxed, upper and lower jaw released from each other. And then inhaling back to center, reach those fingers up nice and high. Couple of long, slow breaths here. And then we'll interlace the fingers again. Bring the hands down in front of us. Turn the palms forward. We're going to pull the belly in and around the spine. So we're kind of in this little cat position here. Breathing. And then inhale the arms up. Slow and steady with the breath. When you come to your next exhale, we're going to twist to the right and then take the arms down and do the same thing. So rounding the spine as we're twisted to the right. You might feel that one side is pressing forward a little bit more than the other. And that's perfectly normal. So just go with that. Inhaling, coming up back to center, palms reaching toward the sky. Couple of breaths here. And next time you come to an exhale, going over toward your left, rounding the spine as much as you can. Slow and steady with the breath. Beautiful. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, arms down. Good. Inhaling up. We'll do a moving twist now. So we're going to exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. And just keep moving with your breath. So inhales bring you center. Exhales bring you to the twist. We all breathe at different rates. And when we can link some of our body movements with our breath, our nervous system becomes very happy. Okay, next time we come to center, reach those fingers up really high. Bring the palms together to heart center. We call this Anjali Mudra. Just take a moment here. It's just observing what kind of sense you might get of how your body is feeling right now. Perhaps it is appreciative of having some movement. Releasing the hands down. We're going to make our way to hands and knees. So you can have a blanket, if you like, under the knees. I find that much more comfortable. And when we are going to be pressing into our hands, you can remember that first tips of your fingers, that first section, and then the base of the fingers, pointer finger and thumb. Focus on pressing into those. You're still pressing into the wrist, but everything isn't pressing into the wrist. You're more distributing things. So let's make our way to hands and knees. And move anything that's on the side of you over, because we're going to be taking the leg out in a moment. Okay, so we're coming to hands and knees, wrists, elbows and shoulders stacked on top of each other. You can have your toes turned under or on the tops of your feet, whatever is more comfortable. When you come to your next inhalation, draw the belly in, rounding the spine, and letting the head hang down. As your exhale comes, let the belly come down and the gaze come up any amount. We'll move at your own pace in cat-cow. I love this posture, this movement. And I always say, if you don't know what else to do on your yoga mat, just do this. Next time you come through center, pause, engage your abdominals and take your right leg out to the right. The whole sole of the foot is on the floor. Toes are pointed forward. Keep the core slightly engaged. On your next inhale, you're going to take the right arm and come up. Reach it as far as it will go to the sky. And then you exhale down, and that arm might like to come under the left side of your body. Any amount. Inhaling up. Exhaling, coming down. Really being mindful of taking the entirety of your breath, both the inhalation and the exhalation, and linking that with your movement. And take that right arm down, bring the right leg in. Make sure you have recentered yourself, taking the left foot out. And we'll do the same. Inhaling, left arm up. Exhaling, coming down. Good. Once more. Next time that arm comes down, bring the leg down, and let's find your blocks. Place them where your hands just were. We're going to place the hands on top of the blocks. Turn your feet under. While your hands are on top of the block, spread your fingers nice and wide. Remember, we're pressing into the tops of the fingers, so right underneath the fingernails, the base of the knuckles, strongly into the thumb and the first finger, then the hips back, pressing up into downward facing dog. You might need to move your feet forward, bend the knees, and send the hips back. Couple of breath cycles here. Thinking of the hips moving away from the tips of the fingers, pressing strongly into the feet and the hands. And then we'll make our way to standing. So you can either walk your feet to the hands or walk the hands back to the feet. Coming up to standing, inhalation up to the sky, exhalation down. And then we'll find the blocks, bring them to the top of the mat, keeping them on the highest height. Okay, find your mountain pose. That is also called Tadasana. So lift your toes and just rock a little bit, back and forth and side to side. So you can really get a sense of all the parts of your feet and that we can engage all of those. So pressing those parts into the earth, spread the toes as best you can, place them back down. If you are a hyperextender, which means that your knees lock, then you can have a little bend in your knees, just a micro bend. We'll do some inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, arms up, exhaling down. You can take the gaze up if you would like. Good. Next time the arms come up, as we come down, we're going to fold forward. So folding forward, this is where your blocks can come in handy for your arms. And if your belly goes right into the thighs, you might like to take your legs a little further apart and make yourself some room there for the belly. Letting the head hang down as much as is comfortable. And taking a few long, slow breaths. Draw the belly in, coming up nice and easy. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling down. This time we're going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to hips. Bending the knees and sending the hips back. We'll come into chair pose. So just take a peek at your knees. They can be over your ankles here, but you want to be able to see your toes. Draw the belly in. Only go as far as your knees allow without pain, and then inhale, arms up if you would like, or keep them on your hips, whichever feels best. Couple of long, deep breaths. You'll feel that this is an energy building pose. Okay, so you're creating this sense of energy here. Feel how it's building in the body. Lots of efforting. And then exhale, folding forward. Get a sense of how the body dissipates the energy that you've created. It's moving around, and then it comes back into balance. You can even imagine the excess energy moving into the earth. Draw the belly in, coming up. Inhaling, arms up. We'll do that again. Exhale, hands to hips. Bending those hips back. Chair pose. Lifting the arms if you'd like. Breathe. Notice this energy. And then exhale, folding forward. Feeling the energy in the body. And allowing for the excess to be released, keeping only what you need. Drawing the belly in. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling down. We're going to do this a few times. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Next time we come up, palms to heart center. We'll pause here for 2 long, slow breaths. Just checking in with yourself. Releasing the hands. We'll take a wide stance now. And in your wide stance, you'll want your blocks on the long side of the mat because we will be coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Not just yet, though. Okay, so take your right toes out to the right toward the short side of your mat. You just want to peek back at your left foot and take the heel back a tiny bit. Press strongly into both feet. Hands to the hips here. We'll just start to bend and straighten. If you notice that your your knee, just like mine, can go really easily over your ankle, you can go wider. So just scoot your foot forward a little bit. That will be my stance. Find yours. Press strongly into both feet. There's no extra points for getting really low. So we want to just make sure everything feels pretty stable. And if it doesn't, come up a little bit higher. Just continue pressing in. Hands to the hips. See if you can get a sense that you're pretty straight up. So the hips kind of stay where they are. And we think about turning from the chest, the heart center. So you turn toward this long side of your mat. Lift the arms. See if you can keep them about shoulder height. Get a sense of where they are in space. And then the gaze goes over the right fingers. And we breathe. Slow and steady. You can kind of check in from the soles of the feet up through the legs to see how steady you feel. Are they really engaged and active? A couple more breaths. Then let's lower the hands back to the hips. Turn the feet forward. Engage the belly. We're going to hinge forward into a wide-legged forward fold. Coming down, finding your blocks. You'll first just keep the back nice and long. Play around with this idea that the tailbone moves away from the crown of the head. The belly is in. Just are noticing some space here. Couple more breaths. Pressing strongly into the feet and coming up nice and easy. Good. Now we'll go to the second side. So left toes out, right heel back, and just bend and straighten a couple of times. This helps you to gauge where you are on this side. When you get to a place that feels solid to you, press strongly into the legs. See what it feels like to lean to forward, come back where you feel like you're in center. Heart center goes toward the long side of the mat. Arms come up. Shoulders are away from the ears, and we turn the gaze over the left fingers. Breathing. Pressing strongly into the feet. The legs stay active. Really try to stay kind of lifted and a little bit looser from the belly up. Our legs are working real hard to keep us here. Gently lowering the hands to hips, toes forward. Once more into our forward fold. And this time you can fold forward as much as your body would like. So for some, that will just be on this highest part And for others, you might need to be able to lower the blocks and let the head hang down. You can even move the blocks a little bit closer, or if your hands reach the floor, you can move them so they're a little bit closer to where your feet are or more in line with the feet. Head can hang down, rocking slowly to and fro. One more long, slow breath here. Hands to the blocks. Bring them once more to the highest height. And from this place, we'll move the feet so they come back into that Tadasana position. Bend the knees, coming up. Inhale, arms up. Exhale down. And we'll do that 2 more times at your own pace, taking that whole entire breath for the movement. Good. And the next time you're up, bring the hands to heart center and pause. Good. Let's release the hands. We're going to head to the floor for just a couple of things before we get into Shavasana. So gather what you like for Shavasana. Blankets for underneath the head, any supports for under the knees or the thighs while you're laying down. And then we'll come to lying on our backs. Keep the knees bent. Make sure your head is supported. And then once you get down here, both knees into the chest. And we're just going to rock a little bit side to side. A little bit of massage on the low back. I really enjoy circling as well, so I always add that in, which just means making a circle with my knees. And you always want to do that in both directions. But whatever feels good to you. And then when you're complete with that, extend your legs up to the sky, pointing and flexing the feet, circling out the ankles. And you can even let the legs move a little bit side to side. Good. And then bending the legs, bringing the feet back to the mat. Take them about as wide as your mat. And we're going to do some windshield wipers, and then we'll head into Shavasana. So knees can go over to the right. That left hip's going to come up. You can take the arms out wide too, palms facing up. And then second side. So you might want to hang out on each side for a few breaths, or you can make this more of a fluid motion by just going side to side. See what feels nourishing to you today. And the next time you make your way back to center, find your supports for underneath your knees if you prefer that. Resting the legs over your support. Settling into Shavasana. So any other kind of movement or wiggling around or whatever it is you need to do. And then we're going to start by settling in with a longer, softer breath. So a few cycles of that belly breathing. Thinking about each exhalation, inviting the back body to release further into the support of the blanket beneath the head, the support of the mat beneath the body, the support of the bolster beneath the legs. With each exhalation, just imagine that your body gets a little bit more relaxed, a little bit heavier, and a little bit softer as you continue to release further and further into a relaxed state. You might begin to notice that your breath naturally shortens and you're not intentionally making it deeper, and that's okay. Let your focus go to your heart center. As you notice the rise and the fall of your heart center, you can kind of hold a space there for yourself, for all the different parts of yourself. And just feel the rise and fall of the breath as it nourishes every part of you. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with peace. May I live with ease. And then noticing in this rise and fall once more of the heart center. Allow that space to be filled with the images of someone that you love. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with peace. May you live with ease. And for the next few minutes, we'll stay here in Shavasana in silence. Once more, notice the rise and the fall of the heart center. And some gentle movement to fingers, toes, wrists, and ankles. This gentle awakening. And then turning to your right side. Take 2 really long, soft, slow breaths here with the intention of staying fully in these last few moments of your practice. Just really the sense of gratitude for yourself, for making room in your day for your practice. And then gently pressing up, keeping the gaze nice and soft. We'll come back to a comfortable seat. Sitting nice and tall. Let's do one last inhalation as the arms go up to the sky. Palms come down to heart center. And gently bowing your head as a gesture of appreciation for yourself, for being here, and for being a part of the Hunger, Hope, and Healing community as we practice together in many, many things. Namaste.